Hey y'all, welcome back to Mountain Murders Recrap.
You never know when we're going to shit it on you.
That's right, gonna shit it on them.
I'm Heather.
And I'm Dylan.
Hey, Dylan, how's it going?
I am doing great. How are you?
It's been a minute, but we're back.
We are back. The sun is shining. I can smell spring on the horizon, and I cannot wait.
Goons in the club. Case it's about to jump off. Sorry, I'm just like in a little Kim mood today for some reason.
Okay.
All right, Dylan, let's get started. We have a lot of different crime stories to cover today. Of course, we've been gone for a couple of weeks. Lots of stuff has happened. We may not cover everything, but we're going to get to a lot, I think, today.
We're gonna do our best.
So a former NFL player has been charged in connection with the murder of his girlfriend.
Like you were saying earlier, it seems like there's been quite a bit of news coming out of sports, sports and crime, if you will.
What is the deal with this? You have these NFL players, NBA players who've signed these huge contracts. They get out of the game and then they go back to a life where they decide to commit crimes. I don't understand.
Well, some people never learn or never really truly change their ways. And, if you think about it, any of these sports leagues, they're full of a bunch of A-type personalities, a bunch of alphas, if you will, high-strung individuals, right, who are at peak performance as far as physicality goes. And, it's a lot of big personalities, but it seems like some of them really have a hard time of controlling themselves.
Right. I mean, it seems like domestic violence comes up quite a bit when we talk about these athletes. On February 6th, which was a Friday, Tennessee's Hamilton County Sheriff's Office announced that 31-year-old Darren Lee was arrested on a charge of first-degree murder, along with a charge of tampering with evidence. Now, Dylan, are you familiar with Darren Lee?
I am not, but when I saw this headline break, I was kind of taken aback because even this is it's more than usual, right?
Well,
it's not.
Lee formerly played with the New York Jets.
Okay,
just to clarify. All right, so in a statement shared by the department's Facebook account, authorities arrived at a residence located on Snow Cone Way on the afternoon of Thursday, February 5th, following a report of a CPR in progress. It seems first responders arrived and they were, trying these life-saving measures, but the woman was pronounced dead at the scene, and an investigation determined that her manner of death was consistent with homicide. So far, I don't think the victim's age and identity has been released.
I don't think so.
Lee, who was identified as the victim's boyfriend by police, was taken into custody at the scene and charged with first-degree murder and tampering with evidence. They say additional charges may follow. Now, this is not Lee's first run-in with the law. In 2023, he was arrested after he allegedly pushed a woman, quote, against the wall, throwing her to the floor and striking her face and head 8 to 9 times with closed fists.
Okay.
Now, the victim was not named in that incident, so I don't know if it's the victim in this case. He is also accused of being involved in a separate incident in which he allegedly threw a cell phone at a different woman, quote, which struck her head, causing her ear to bleed, grabbing her neck while punching the pillow beside her head, causing red marks to her neck. This guy's out of control.
He's out of control, and if all this is true, he is a pissed piece of shit. Now, it must be interesting being a paramedic, because you come into a scene, it's an emergency, you're just trying to do what you think is right then to help the victim or the patient, if you will, but all this other stuff's kind of going on all around you, and I think a lot of times paramedics, they get called to an emergency and they start getting a feeling like there's more to this story, right?
Well, in April 2023, the Columbus Dispatch reported that there was some other incident involving a female relative, adding that Lee later accepted a plea deal in which he pleaded guilty in Franklin County Municipal Court to a misdemeanor charge of possessing a counterfeit controlled substance, as well as a misdemeanor charge of attempted assault. In February 2025, he avoided a domestic violence conviction.
So here you have this big, tough athlete but and he wants to press up on women. I just don't understand people who act like that.
I don't either. So he graduated from Ohio State, where he played for the Buckeyes. His college career ended with him being selected by the New York Jets in the first round of the 2016 NFL Draft.
Okay, so it means he was fairly talented.
Yeah, he remained with them until 2018 before finishing his time with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
So you got a guy, sounds like he has a pretty successful football career. I'm sure he made a chunk of change playing football.
Well, let's look at that. He stayed for years. He stayed with the original team that picked him in the first round. That means once his rookie contract ran out, he probably signed a very lucrative second deal. And, I'm sure he made a lot of money.
I just don't understand. I really don't understand why these athletes do this shit. I mean, I guess they're just criminals who happen to be good at sports.
Who's good at carrying the foosball.
Right. All right, Dylan, moving along here, there have been a couple of stories like this popping up in the news over the last month or two. Very disturbing, where these young girls are leaving home, meeting up with men that they've met online.
It's so scary.
So there's a girl, a 17-year-old girl from California that has been missing for 2 months. She left home to meet a man. Tanaya Tovar of Hammett, California, was reported missing on December 1st of 2025. At the time, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children said that Tanaya may be in the company of an adult male and that she has a tattoo on her left hand. It is currently believed that Tovar allegedly traveled 70 miles to Thermal, California to meet with an unidentified man. Now, her mother told detectives that Tovar usually shared her location with friends and family members, but the day she disappeared, that's when she stopped sharing that information.
Oh, my gosh.
So far, she's been missing these couple of months. The FBI and the Riverside County Sheriff's Office are handling this case, and they are seeking any information about this young woman. And if you know anything about Tanaya's whereabouts, 1-800-THE-LOST is a good way to reach law enforcement with any tips.
So what's so crazy about this is, in all these other cases in life, you protect yourself from a crime, right? You lock your doors. You may, have situational awareness in a parking lot. You're always trying to avoid someone doing harm to you. But what's so scary about these types of cases is you, even unknowingly, are complicit in putting yourself in danger. You still, you go to the danger. Obviously, you don't realize it's the danger that it might be. But I mean, it's almost like you can't. It's hard to protect your child or loved one from something like this because they have a part in making it happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm not.
Well, no, I understand what you're saying. I mean, you cannot
I'm not
control
victim blame.
your child's every move.
No, you can't.
And no matter how much you lecture them on the dangers of strangers, whether that's in person or online, you have no control over every move they make every day of their life.
You can have 50 locks on a door, but if the person's willing to unlock those locks themselves and go out that door, that's impossible to stop.
I know. I don't know how parents or guardians can effectively drive home internet safety and predators on the internet and just keeping their child informed about these dangers and what can happen.
Right.
Because it leads me to another case where a teenager was found mutilated with 27 stab wounds after a man she met on a dating app lured her to his apartment. And this is in Tolleson, Arizona.
Oh, my God.
Yesenia Norman, now she was 18, was reported missing on January 19th, 4 days after she was seen leaving the transitional home where she was living in Phoenix, according to a local outlet, KSAZ. Norman's friends told authorities that when they last saw her, she was going to meet a man that she had connected with on this dating app. Now, police told this news outlet that the 18-year-old was found deceased at an apartment in Tolleson, which is about 20 minutes away from Phoenix. Norman was found mutilated with 27 stab wounds and had been covered in blankets and towels.
Damn. That's so terrible.
Investigators learned that the apartment was leased to 27-year-old Randall Basilio Santillan and his ex-wife. Police used license plate readers to track Santillan's vehicle and learned that he allegedly left the scene of the crime after Norman's death and drove from Arizona to Mississippi over multiple days. Now, he has been arrested and charged with first-degree murder and kidnapping.
Well, at least they caught the monster. It's almost like you have the old ways, the old way of thinking, and the modern day mixing. Because you can have young people, you can show them cases like this, but they in that youthful hubris, they always think, well, that's not going to happen to me, or I can control this situation. And what's scary about meeting people online is, and people can do this in person as well, but I think it's a lot harder for someone to, because you get a feeling, you get vibes when you meet someone in person. And you can be like, well, they said this, but I don't know if that's true, or they made me feel creepy. But then you meet someone online and it's just a complete disguise, right? They can act like anybody. You can't really get a good read on them. You can't look into their eyes or their face and see if what they're saying to you, if they're being truthful or whatever. And then you end up meeting that person in real life and they're just a total monster, and it's too late.
I understand that's exactly what happened to you.
What?
I lured you online.
Yeah.
And you met me, and I'm a total monster, and I've held you captive for these last 7 years.
And this is
forced you to podcast. And while I poke you with sticks, like, dance, monkey, dance, get on the microphone.
And this is the real reason we can't get video figured out here at the Mountain Murder Studios, because I blink in Morse code. And she doesn't want the truth to get out.
Yeah. No, I mean, we're making jokes, but this is terrible.
No, it's horrible.
But this is not the only case, Dylan. We have another one to talk about. Again, I don't know if these things are just kind of being reported on or if there's been an uptick in this type of activity.
Right.
But a teenage girl who met a man through online gaming before her disappearance 4 weeks ago is believed to be dead. Haley Busby was last seen leaving her home in Fishers, Indiana on January 5th. She was reported missing by her family, and it was presumed at the time that she had run away from home. On February 1st, the Fisher Police Department announced that they believe Busby, who was 17, is dead. They determined that she went missing within days after she was picked up by a suspect named Tyler Thomas. He's 39 years old, and she met him through online gaming.
Yeah, you always have to wonder, is this happening more often, or is all of a sudden, the media or whatever just reporting on this kind of in, as like a mini fad, if you will?
So search warrant documents obtained by Fox 59 from the Franklin County Municipal Court in Ohio unveiled more information on how Tyler Thomas is allegedly involved in the disappearance of Haley Busby. So these court documents that were recently filed revealed that Thomas and Busby reportedly communicated for more than a year online before her disappearance. The two allegedly used an encrypted messaging app known as Session.
I've never heard of that.
I've never heard of that either. The documents were filed by law enforcement as part of the investigation, including requests to search digital data, Thomas's phone, and the vehicle the two reportedly traveled in from Fishers to Central Ohio. 39-year-old Thomas is from Columbus, Ohio. Now, he allegedly picked up Busby from her Fishers home in early January after the two were communicating via an online gaming system, which they don't specify which one. After being considered an endangered missing juvenile, Thomas allegedly led officers, not offers, to the girl's remains after law enforcement stated that they believed she was dead.
Damn.
Yeah. Thomas indicated that he buried her remains in Perry County. Now, a source close to the investigation had previously told this Fox 59 News that the teen had been dismembered.
I mean, as a parent, what do you even do with all this information, you know? I mean, they go missing. You start looking for them. That's got to be hard enough, right? Not knowing, wondering where they're at, if they're hurt, you know, if they can be helped, trying like hell to find them. And then the story ends like this.
It gets worse, Dylan. Officials reportedly found physical devices that contained child sex abuse material of Busby. Now, at the time, Thomas attempted to delete those materials from the devices. A search warrant was also executed at a short-term rental in Hocking County. And there they allegedly recovered forensic evidence that led officials to believe that a crime had occurred at this site. So it sounds like they had maybe gotten some kind of Airbnb. Yeah.
Wow.
They also searched Thomas's 2013 Acura RDC, which was used to transport this young lady across state lines from Indiana to Ohio. And they were looking for any of her personal items. The two reportedly traveled to a rental cabin in Logan, Ohio. And while Thomas claimed to be alone at the cabin, rental records indicate the reservation was for 2 guests. And of course, as I mentioned, they were communicating for more than a year on a gaming platform. And then they used Session, that encrypted messaging app, to communicate as well.
Now, I'm curious if they're able to recover that information from that app, because sometimes some of these encrypted text apps, even the company can't unencrypt it or access the information. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Like, I mean, that's a big selling point, if you will, of things like this. Oh, even we can't get your information if we want it.
We use WhatsApp.
Right, and I
which
think
is allegedly encrypted, right?
yes, I think it is actually has a pretty decent encryption on it.
Not that I require that.
Now, what I don't know is if Facebook, who owns WhatsApp, can actually access the information from their side. So I don't know the answer to that. But it makes it harder for these. And you know, this is what these people do. They find these ways to communicate, to try to cover their tracks, which it doesn't sound like this guy was very good at it, fortunately. But, I mean, what a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And if all this is true, which it seems to be, I think everyone knows my stance on that.
Gosh, internet safety is so important. And if you have kids, no matter what their age, even if they are 18, 19 years old, it is so important as parents to drive home the importance of being safe online.
Honestly, even though the internet is more intertwined with our daily lives now than ever, I feel like it's not talked about enough. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think it's almost out there. It's like it's just an accepted part of risk, accepted risk of just like living. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, like it's just become second nature.
It's like if you're in a car,
if you're online, there's going to be predators out there.
Yeah, it's like if you ride in a car, you know, you could be in a horrific accident. It just happens. You know, I just don't fit, because when we were younger, and the age we are, it was a really, really big deal.
Well, yeah, I mean, we kind of came up in the age of, I guess, the beginning of the internet,
right,
so to speak. We were the first generation to have the desktop computer at home with the dial-up internet, and chat rooms were a big thing. And I feel like we were made well aware of the dangers, maybe not right at first, but a few years into this phenomenon where everybody was doing it, you know, you became pretty aware that, like, wait, there are these creepy predators waiting in these chat rooms. And then you had shows like To Catch a Predator.
Yes.
You know, which showed us how these gross perverts groom young people in chat rooms, messaging apps, that kind of thing.
Yeah. It's almost like, I don't know. It's just like an accepted. It's like these kids I don't know. Maybe it's always been there. Just that, like I said, that youthful hubris where you don't listen. You think it can never happen to you. You think you can control situations when you end up way in, way over your head. And, I guess maybe back in the day, it just happened different ways, right?
Right.
That they didn't have that access to be able to slowly kind of, talk you out of the safety of your home or
Well, I
loved
think
ones.
it was a little harder back then because you typically, as a young person, had to use the family computer. You normally didn't have your own devices. It was a family device that everyone shared.
Right.
You had to access it from like a family room. I mean, I
Right.
remember the family computer being initially in our dining room. So anybody could walk by and see what you were doing.
At any moment.
And your parents would often come over and check to see what you were doing. So it was, a lot harder, I think, for young people to access certain material that maybe they shouldn't be looking at, but also the dangers and risks of chatting with strangers online because you had to do it out in open.
Right.
Where your family can see you and ask, "What are you doing?" And
Yeah, your mom would be like, "Who are you talking to? Who is Ass Blaster 5000?"
Yes.
Right.
And you're like, "It's Grandma." Nana figured out how to use Yahoo.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that's part of it, Dylan. And today, I mean, kids, very, very young children have cell phones, have devices, have iPads, and I don't know if parents have gotten slack about, checking on their kids or installing certain software to try to prevent these types of things. But there's also, kids figure out how to bypass
Yes, they
some
do.
of these safety protocols.
Well, look, unless you lock them in a room under lock and key, you cannot. It's almost impossible to stop them from going online. You can take all their devices. Every one of their friends has a multitude, devices. It's almost impossible.
Well, it's hard to keep track. And then like a gaming platform. I mean, how many of us have kids that enjoy playing, online, Xbox, PlayStation? I'm not exactly sure all the different Roblox, all the different gaming platforms.
Well, there's
online.
a ton of them.
But you never think your kid's going to play like Call of Duty and that somehow they're end up messaging with some pervert who leads them to an outside third-party app.
Right.
It's really scary times we're living in.
No, it really is. It really is. And
we're just inviting these weirdos and strangers like into our homes, into our personal lives.
Well, and I think, it's like a pendulum, and I think it needs to swing back the other way that, maybe, and you're starting to see this where some social media in some countries are really trying to crack down on
ban young people.
Young people being online, almost make you register, where you have to, if you buy alcohol online or anything, you have to show your face, show your ID, prove all the time, often prove who you are and while you're on there. And I think we maybe need to go back to kids don't necessarily have to have access to the internet, right?
Right.
They don't need to, outside of, say, a school
project
or something like that, or something you're doing it with them. They don't need phones at 8 years old. Maybe we should start thinking about, and I know some parents do this, and I think it's a good thing, really, really limiting screen time. And just, hey, get your butt outside and play.
Well, I mean, they're proving that it's not good for development. It's not good for your brain. It's not good for any of our brains.
No.
I mean, I definitely need to put my phone away.
Yeah, and, that's a good point. That's true for myself as well, because I find, especially lately, with just everything going on in the world and just the attitudes that you find online on all sides of any subject, it doesn't add any value to my life, right?
No, it just steals your sunshine.
Yes, it really does.
All I have to say, with everything that's going on in the world, it is a great time to be a troll, because I love to troll people, say outlandish shit online, get them riled up. It's very fun for me. But see, I've got to stop. I need to stop, right?
Yeah, well, and me going on that big speech about the internet, the only thing I really think people should use the internet for is to listen to Mountain Murders podcast.
Well, absolutely. I find myself, I'm hardly on social media, save for, one social media app, and I am trying to limit my use of that app audiobooks, podcasts. I mean, that is the bulk of my internet usage. And then, of course, I read a lot of news, which I should stop that as well. It's like an addiction.
Now, I've been doing getting into audiobooks a lot more. And of course, I have my, bevy of podcasts I like, which is a great way to get through a day at work or, if you're, doing housework or whatever. Something you can just turn on and kind of have in the background. But I've been doing the classics, classic literature.
Okay.
The great American classics or great literature, not just American. And I've really been enjoying these books. I remember reading in, 4th, 5th, 6th grade was the last time I actually read them. And it's fun. It's been fun.
Yeah, I've tried to get through a few of the classics. Most recently, I would say Jules Verne's, was it 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea?
Yes.
I'd never read that book. I kind of knew what it was about, but not really. I listened to the audiobook recently. All right. Was impressed.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's definitely a book that, I guess stands up today.
Well, if you look when it came out and just the fantastical world it created,
yes.
It was really a great piece of science fiction.
So well researched as well.
Yes.
I mean, it seems he really dove into like seamanship and learned a lot just to be able to write as wonderfully as he did.
See, someone who does that, especially when they're writing fantasy or science fiction, but the physics work, they understand, like if you do take a vessel down in the ocean, that there's going to be these pressures and
right.
When all that stuff's real world and mixed in, that really makes it very interesting to me because it makes it seem much more real.
Now at present, I'm trying to get through Interview with a Vampire, the Anne Rice novel. I tried to read it many years ago, like when I was in college, and I just remember I didn't really like it at the time.
Okay.
I thought there was too much description. I don't need all that.
You don't need 7 pages about
I mean, I've said this before. I have a hard time getting into fiction. Like, it has to really catch my attention to be into fiction. I prefer nonfiction. So, yeah, listening to the audiobook has helped me, I guess, a little more get through the story.
Now, you're a tough customer because I've seen this with the movies and I've seen you with books, too. It'll grab you, but holding your attention is a whole nother story.
I can't help it.
Right?
My brain does weird things.
We'll watch some little weird movie no one's ever heard of, and okay, good premise. It starts out, it don't matter about budget, or it doesn't matter about budget or anything.
It don't matter?
It don't. We can do, watch something. It doesn't have to be, slick and polished. But then, next thing I know, Heather's over there, got her phone out.
Playing Oregon Trail or something?
No, you're looking up. You've already looked up the plot description of the movie. You've read through it completely. You already had it figured out anyway.
Don't tell people that I do that.
And she's like, do you want me to tell what happens, or are you just going to keep watching this? Like, you're just totally ready to move on.
Well, that's the thing. When I figure out the plot and I'm like, okay, this is what I think is happening, and I have to look it up because it's going to drive me crazy. Right? So I look it up, and then I'm like, I was right.
Yeah.
I'd be a great detective.
You would be.
Yeah, I know. Dylan, let's move on. We've been chit-chatting a little too much here, off track. The days of mooning, people just don't moon each other anymore.
That's true.
Now, can you explain what mooning is for our listeners that may not know?
Well, okay, maybe the younger listeners, if we have some of those. Well, you know what it is. Come on. It's when you show your bum to people.
When you flash your ass at people.
Now, see, but there is an art to mooning.
There is.
It's not pulling your whole pants down.
But you try to catch them off guard with it.
You got to catch them off guard when they're not expecting it. Oftentimes, if there's a bunch of people on your side who know it's coming, and they can kind of be your peanut gallery when you do it, fall out, laugh, and point. And then the shock of the other person, like, what? Sometimes the people are shocked. Sometimes they're happy, I guess, if you got a nice butt or something. I'm not sure that would be the reaction to my mooning reveal. I think shock would be
blinding.
Well, yeah.
It might blind
well, I see this
folks
from the front, so I couldn't imagine. And a proper moon, you bend over, right?
Well, I don't know about that.
Real? Oh, you do a stand-up mooning?
You can.
So you kind of roll your pants down off of your bum.
Right.
It's not, it truly is a reveal.
Well, if our listeners have seen Grease,
yes.
the movie, there's a whole mooning scene.
Okay,
the
so
school dance.
All right.
Right? People just don't do that anymore. It seems to be a thing of the past. And it's in a lot of those like cheesy 80s, 70s, 80s cornball teen sex comedies.
Oh, God.
You know, from back in the day, like Porky's and things like that. Dylan, have you ever mooned anyone? Have you ever been mooned?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Interesting.
I have not mooned.
No, I'm not saying that this fella is doing it right, but I do think there could be some comedy gold in bringing back the moon. But like I said, I'm not sure he did it the right way. So a man has been arrested and charged with 2 counts of simple battery and 2 counts of lewd and lascivious exhibition after allegedly mooning a group of teenagers and then throwing soda at them.
Oh.
This was in Gainesville, Florida. So we've got a Florida man named William Heath. He's 47 years old. He went to a McDonald's restaurant on February 7th and allegedly became agitated when he became convinced a group of teenagers was staring at him.
Okay.
Now, the Independent Florida Alligator reports that the group consisted of a 17-year-old and 2 15-year-olds. Heath allegedly approached the group, began to argue with them, threw his Dr. Pepper on them before leaving. The group then followed him out, and he allegedly collapsed into a bush and pretended the teens had shoved him.
Okay.
An arrest record obtained by WCJB News states a witness outside the McDonald's said Heath claimed he had been punched and was yelling obscenities at the group about race and sexuality.
All right.
So obviously making some slurs. The teens took video of Heath allegedly lowering his pants, exposing his buttocks, smacking and rubbing them.
Oh, you can kiss it.
Yeah, according to a witness seated nearby in a car, the teens did not initiate any physical contact with Heath.
Now, I would love to see the exterior surveillance of this altercation. Right.
Heath allegedly confessed after being read his Miranda rights by police, saying the teens had insulted him. He was then arrested. So we should bring the moon back, but like I said, maybe not in this way. Like, you should not moon minors.
Well, you shouldn't moon minors, and you shouldn't assault people with your moon, right? It's supposed to be a kind of a funny thing.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Like moon your brother-in-law or something.
Everyone's supposed to walk away from the mooning with like a glow, right? Like a warm feeling, not feeling like they'd been assaulted.
Now, Dylan, let's get into this. It has been all over the news, so much in fact that I'm kind of, I don't want to say annoyed with the story, but I'm just like, wow, this is getting way more attention than any other missing persons case ever gets. And that is the Savannah Guthrie. So we have a rich white woman, right? And her mother has been kidnapped and being held for ransom, allegedly. Allegedly. And this has been going on, I think, like 9 or 10 days. It's all over the news. It's like all they can talk about. And I get it's a very sad situation that this elderly woman has been taken from her home. She's 84 years old. Allegedly, she has she's fairly like immobile. So
yeah.
It seems someone would have to come and physically like remove her from the house.
Which is strange, right?
Yeah.
So at first, I thought it was, it was captivating because here we have like a truly, it was a missing person. And then it kind of quickly turned into, hey, we've had a ransom request. You see them, the family in Savannah on TV making a plea for a proof of life to prove that their mother is indeed alive. They're saying that she has medicine she needs daily that, she really, truly needs for pain and things like that. And, yeah, but, of course, well, it's also strange. This is like a kind of a weird target. It's like who decided to go kidnap or, okay, from a kidnapper's perspective, this is not an easy person because you got to take them and care for them, at the very least keep them alive until you get the ransom, right?
Right.
That's the whole point of the process. Well, here you're taking an elderly woman who's basically immobile, who knows what all meds she's on or what health problems she has. So even if you take her and put her up in a Holiday Inn and do your very best to care for her, she could pass away.
Well, yeah.
Because given her age and her health condition. So it's kind of the whole thing's stupid, right? I mean, I don't understand.
Right. Well, one guy was arrested after allegedly making some kind of ransom demand, wanting some kind of cryptocurrency. He's been arrested, but it seems they don't think he is actually connected to the kidnapping, that he's just somebody trying to profit off of the kidnapping.
Oh, really?
That's my understanding. Now, law enforcement officials, I'll get that out, were seen searching the home belonging to Nancy's daughter, Annie Guthrie, and her husband, Tommaso Cioni, late in the evening on Saturday, February 7th, just hours after Annie, alongside the siblings Savannah and Cameron Guthrie, shared a new video message for their mom's kidnappers. They have made several video pleas, begging for the release of their mother. Annie's property is about 4 miles from Nancy's home in Tucson, and they believe she was taken in the middle of the night on January 31st. Now, as of today, Dylan, they have no current suspects or persons of interest in the investigation into Nancy's disappearance. They say the investigation is ongoing and they are following up at multiple locations, but they don't have any suspects, persons of interest, or vehicles identified yet, and they don't have any scheduled press briefings until they get some new information. Yeah.
Wow. So this is so wild, right?
It is wild, and like I said, I mean, I'm terribly sorry for this family. I think this is a horrible experience for anyone to go through. No one wants their loved one to be abducted and held for ransom.
No.
I mean, most of us don't have money, so we're not going to have to deal with this. And I think that's terrible, but it's just the I guess my thing is, like, the media attention has been nonstop on this when there are thousands of children being trafficked and we have lots of other missing people in the world.
Well, I mean, all these...
You're putting all this money and resource into finding this one person just because her daughter is on TV?
Well, yeah, but I'm saying it's the same old song and dance. And
some
a lot
people matter and the rest of us don't. I
and
guess
people,
is the point you're making.
Often people want to break this down along racial lines. I always, in my own mind, think it's more about affluence.
It's a class issue.
It's a class issue. It's not a race issue. And also you have Savannah Guthrie as one of their own, quote unquote. She's in the business. So that's going to make it even more so that.
So you think that's why the media?
They're going to concentrate on her, and she's an affluent woman, and I think that always is the bigger factor than race, because there's plenty of. If you're poor, it doesn't matter what color you are, you're going to get ignored. You know what I mean?
Well, there's that.
But hey, all that being said, is the best news I could see is if, woke up tomorrow and this poor woman was returned, she's alive and getting medical attention and been returned to her family. So let's hope that is the end.
Yes.
Of this story. But I mean, these types of situations very seldom work out in a good way.
Well, I don't think kidnappers
usually
usually make off with a big load of money, like a big ransom suitcase.
Well, that's what I was going to say. In this country,
it doesn't typically work out.
It very seldom, or in most Western countries, honestly, very seldom is there a successful kidnapping where you get the ransom, you leave the person, and run off into the night with the money or whatever. Sometimes families will circumvent law enforcement even after they've made contact to try to strike a deal and maybe broker a deal that way. It does happen. But let's just hope that the poor woman makes it back alive.
Well, authorities are continuing to investigate an alleged ransom note that was sent to the media. The first note set a deadline of 5 p.m. on Thursday, February 5th, and a second deadline was set for Monday, February 9th.
Okay.
You know, Dylan, I mean, maybe I'm completely wrong here. This doesn't seem or feel random to me. It doesn't. I don't see this as just some random people who are like, oh yeah, hey, let's kidnap
pick out a
this
target
lady because her daughter's on TV. It seems to me maybe it's someone who is known to the family.
Well, I agree with that, and for the reasons I outlined,
and not so much a stranger
right.
abduction. I don't know.
Well, I agree with that because if you are this kidnapping gang, that's not, as far as the victim that you're kidnapping, this is not an optimal situation, right? They're not mobile. They have health issues. They're very elderly.
Well, there are a lot of people out there who have more money than Savannah Guthrie.
Well, it's true. I mean, it would make a lot more sense if you are thinking, have a criminal mind like that, to grab
Tom Cruise's child,
a kid
something.
or a young person, or a cousin or anything, over this elderly woman.
Someone who's like got a lot of money.
Right. Someone who has hundreds of millions of dollars.
Right.
Who could actually come up with cash, unmarked cash, and all these things.
Right. Like kidnapping Lady Gaga's French bulldogs. I don't know. It's just a very strange story.
I think there's more to it. I wonder, as like you do, if it is totally random, and maybe we'll get those answers. But obviously, our curiosity is on the lowest rung of the ladder, and we just hope the poor woman is returned alive at the very least.
Absolutely, Dylan. And again, I'm not trying to disparage the Guthrie family at all. I'm just saying the fact that this case has so much attention. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
like one of the headlines was like the chief of police was spotted at a basketball game the other day, and I'm like, okay, so he's not allowed to have a life outside of this particular investigation. I mean, law enforcement is obviously doing everything that they can in the case, and y'all want to act like shocked that the police chief or whoever, the main person in this investigation, has taken time to go to a basketball game.
I mean, they're people. This is their job.
They have a life outside of their job.
Yes, but that when you start seeing stupid headlines like that.
Yeah, like this cop is a terrible person because he's got a life outside of, just 24/7 being focused on this investigation.
Well, that's when it starts feeling artificial outside the norm of trying to keep it in the headlines, when you start getting hot takes like police chief takes dump after press conference.
How dare the police chief stopped and had lunch.
Yeah.
During this investigation.
But I mean, wow, this isn't the only story. This is a story. It's a sad story, but it's not the only. I mean, gosh, look at the crap that's coming out of the Epstein files,
Yeah, why are we not focused on that?
Well, everybody wanted these files, right? Supposedly both sides now, amazingly, both sides want to see the files.
And now we're being told there's no proof of trafficking, even though there's very obviously proof of trafficking. No one's going to be arrested now that these files have been released.
How does that work?
I don't know.
No, but okay, so look.
And we can go and protest certain things, but we're not out rioting and protesting over this, that our government is being run by a bunch of fucking sick weirdos.
Here's the thing. A couple of quick takeaways from the Epstein files. There is a video. Have you seen the video with the flash of orange up the stairs? It appears to be the outside arm of a inmate uniform. It looks like someone going up the stairs. Some people believe this was Epstein, being led away, if you will.
Okay.
I never thought that he died.
There are photos surfacing of him allegedly in Tel Aviv.
Yeah, I know, but I gotta say, the timing of that, after all these years, and this all of a sudden, here's this Epstein lookalike kicking it around in Tel Aviv, the alleged homeless man who looks like him. The veracity of that, I question because of the timing. It seems awfully, hey, here's Epstein files, finally. Oh, look, here's Epstein, having lunch with Elvis and Tupac. I don't know about that, but I never thought he died in that jail cell personally. Do you? Did you? And I certainly know he didn't.
Well, I don't believe he killed himself. I don't believe he suicided himself. That's for sure. Now, whether he is alive somewhere in the world, I'm not ruling out that possibility, and it would not surprise me at all if he's not, because he's wealthy and has all these connections.
His connections were
that he's living it up somewhere, like in a chateau somewhere, on an island or whatever.
But I mean, when you get stuff coming out there like, hey, him talking to other people about how a war in Ukraine would be awesome because there'd be a bunch of orphan children. I mean, it's like, what are we talking about here? But his influence and power, for whatever reason, because he looks like a dipshit. He seems like a dumbass.
He types like a dipshit too. If you read through the emails, these like rich people are dumb as fuck. They can't type, and they certainly can't spell. And their emails look like a drunk toddler typed them out.
Well, and so it's
not
disgusting.
That I know any drunk toddlers.
And now here you have pizza talk again.
Yeah.
Pizza and grape soda.
Those of us who read those Podesta emails, the WikiLeaks back in 2016, are not shocked.
Look, I know some of our listeners might be like, oh my God, with this. But look, I have never in my life, let alone emailed someone or texted them talking this way about having fucking pizza. I don't know what to say to you. I don't know anyone that ever has.
No, I know people who own pizza parlors that don't send these kinds of emails, Dylan.
So again, like I said back then, is we might not know what it means, but it certainly is not talking about fucking pizza.
Well, it's interesting to me, all these conspiracy theories have proven true. There are so many things that were conspiracy theories that we now know are not. So, again, I believe that there is something to these food-related emails that keep being sent among these wealthy elitists.
All right. So here we are. And after all that being said, I just want to say we love our listeners.
I like pizza, but I'm definitely not molesting children, nor am I eating them, nor am I trafficking them.
I like grape soda. I mean, I'll be the first one to admit it. Love it.
It's good.
It's really good. We have some chilled grape sodas right now in the fridge in glass bottles.
What is that brand?
Frosty.
Oh, it's so good. A little 4-pack of Concord grape soda.
You feel like you're getting some exclusive ciders.
I love a little knee-high grape in a glass bottle as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a peach knee-high in the glass bottle, super cold.
Love it.
Like 38 degrees, 36 degrees. In the middle of summer, there's not much better. It's very satisfying. Yes, it is. All right, so we'll leave it there. Right?
Pizza party.
Grape soda and pizza. I got to go email my friend about us grabbing a slice.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Very weird.
So until next time, we hope that this podcast finds you happy, safe, and fed.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Fed with some pizza?
Pizza.
Not some baby's intestines? I don't know. I mean, I know some of the shit that's been released is unsubstantiated, and any wackadoodle whack-a-mole out there can just
make a
contact the FBI and make some outrageous claim, and they're unsubstantiated. But there's definitely some stuff in there that makes you go, what is happening?
Okay, so right quick, I'll say what you're going to get with this is the totally dumb, unsubstantiated. See, they quickly threw that phrase out, right? Well, that's just
debunked.
It's all mixed in there with the real shit, okay? The dumb, the real, the horrifying. It's all mixed in there together as a way to basically discredit the whole thing.
Well, I think we can conclude that Epstein is a total piece of shit, probably one of the worst fucking people ever to walk this earth, and that he has connections to many, many rich, powerful people, whether that's in Hollywood, the music industry,
finance,
politics, finance. He's got his dirty, gross little hands in everything, and there are plenty of these people who enjoyed what the man had going on.
It was certainly debauchery.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
The world is run by a bunch of sickos
And they're dumb.
who can't type. They're like virgins who can't thrive.
All right.
You're dumb rich people who can't type.
So keep your kids safe. Keep them off the internet. Lock those doors. Don't email people in code about pizza and grape soda.
Nope.
And we'll catch you next time.
Bye, Dylan.
Bye.